Archers, attack! Keep firing! Let none escape! Another down! Do not relent!
Welcome back, survivors of the Battle of the Bridge. I'm Slidewhistle, and this is another pod. Do not relent!
Hello, it's Immunization.
And it's me, Aaron, Fire Mage Extraordinaire and Horde Punching Bag. You guys have fun with that fighting Zally business. I'll be shooting magical beams from my ship way over here.
Yeah, so y'all just want to start with the scenario and things leading up to the new raid that was just released?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I actually didn't... So we talked about it last week. I didn't actually finish it until this week, where I repicked up the waking up the ancients and doing the other things.
Yeah, basically just recruiting all the elves to join this battle on the bridge where we're going to go and attack the Darkwell. But yeah, this week's quest, I also had to finish up some of last week, so I wasn't 100% sure what was technically this week. So technically this week's was just the scenario. Is that what it was?
Yes, you gathered everyone. It ended with going through the Dark Way, and then that got you the Nightborn's participation. And this time it was just, we're gonna march across that bridge and we're gonna kick their ass!
Yeah, and we had the classic, this is a battle scenario where, it's kill a bunch of things and it feels very, important, like a massive battle where all the elves are working together. And, I always do love this type of scenario, though. It just feels important.
They have 15 or 20 green NPCs, and if you're lucky, they might even kill a guy. So it's yeah, we're really participating. Everyone's in this together.
I made sure to help out all the ancients first. I was like, oh my god, why is Elder Branch why is he 85% health? Guys, why aren't you healing him? You should be at 100% health.
And then over there, Lady Liadrin's just I don't know, crocheting a sweater or something. It's no, Elder Branch is in danger.
No. She was doing stuff, if only because she had one move that I think she was programmed to call out and do if you got within a certain distance to her. But I was bobbing and weaving, scorching, so she said it 3 times in a row. And I was like, oh, that's questionable programming. It's the light will take you. The light will take you. So I was like, so she was on the battlefield. She was just doing that one thing, very choreographed.
It's a little weird too. Just when they're doing the whole all the elves are getting together, I feel like everybody had a pretty okay part. But then I feel like Liadrin didn't really do anything in any of that elf putting together sequence, and then she didn't really have any lines or even any head nods in any of the little video trailers. Yeah,
she's supposed to be important enough that she got her own animated segment that they made before Midnight came out. Is that just to say Liadrin will be a character in this expansion? Wait, I thought she was supposed to be the protagonist. She was Farron. She's supposed to be there right next to us in every cutscene.
She's Miss Sunwell. She's zealotry, whatever. Maybe they kind of thought that we hung out with her enough when we were in Zul'Aman.
When she was part of the Hashay in Zul'Aman.
Because during the Battle of the Bridge, the trolls do show up, and I guess I would have to imagine that would be because Liadrin was hanging out with them, and they were like, oh, our elf friend needs help. We're friends now. Let's go show up, and we just want to rip some heads off these void things anyway.
It was really funny because, when they arrived, I popped. They were like, we would never pass up a time when we get to invade the Sunwell, which I thought was kind of funny.
Even the random NPCs have, spoken dialogue that's good. You can go there now and talk to a random group of trolls, and they're like, I almost swung on an elf! I've been dreaming about this all me life!
It is pretty funny, too, because if you think about it, it still kind of was an elf war, even with those 2 races added, because the Herondar are elf dark troll ascendants, and then you basically Zul'Aman are original elves, trolls are original elves, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's a very, 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 very distant family reunion here.
I'm still a little mad that there are no demon hunters. They're elves.
I know they're all elves, but I think they they hold themselves to a higher degree than all of this business. Based on our most recent interaction with them, which was the book, the vibe I got was they were like, we'll set the pace. You don't ask us to show up. We'll show up if we want to.
Oh, that was more so we're hunting a demon. What do y'all know about hunting demons?
Maybe they're still hunting demons. I don't know. They don't seem to really care about the world. Now they're putting together their cardboard boxes to be like, we need to take it to space and kill the last demons.
I think the thing that really got me, though, was that the book established that Erator is a friend of the demon hunters. So all Erator has to do is pick up the fucking phone and be like, yo, demon hunters are like, oh shit, is that Erator? Is that Airy Berry? We're fucking there, boy. We're pulling up the fucking Bellhammer for you.
Just parked above the dark well.
that alone, if they just would have like to bring in the Fellhammer just to shoot some laser beams at some jellyfish, come on.
Can you imagine, and I know this is just a raid, it's not the raid, but imagine you're fighting Laura in Moments to Midnight, the 2011 Linkin Park album, and she goes like, oh, I'm gonna blow up the entire lower floor, I'm gonna flood it with void, and I'm gonna go up the tower. And then here comes Kane's Sun Fury, and he's like, everyone, hop on the Fellhammer and I can transport you to part 3 of the fight.
That would be sick.
You know, maybe just canonically the demon hunters are like, you know, demons? You know, we want to hunt some demons. But like Void, they're like, nah, sleeping still. They're like, we don't care about that.
You know what's crazy, especially because a third of them, actually, I'm sorry, 2/3 of them are that color, but maybe they just can't see purple. They're like, no, green, we're really good at seeing through these eyeballs with our magic little orbs. Purple, we're colorblind. Sorry, can't see it. We're not going into the Void Storm. That shit's actually just dark.
I can't see shit in the Void Storm.
When we fight Bellamar, I can only do it half of the time. When this thing shifts, it's out of my hands.
You know, if I'm marked with the Void presence, I can't even see myself. I don't know where I am.
And then another thing I was looking into, which I actually did get an answer to, the Silver Covenant. Okay, so my favorite thing about this is that they exiled Verisa because of things that everyone knows about except for us. I mean, I guess I did know this when I was looking it up. The whole Silver Covenant fighting against, what's his tits? Sun Fury man. What's his name? Aethys?
Aethys, Sun Fury, yes, as Mitch pointed out, and then I shouted wrongly at him. Verisa and friends were actively helping corner blood elves to get massacred.
Good, excellent. They should do that more. But so they're exiled, and they're literally like around the block. And then like we're bringing back their relics, and they're like, oh my god, we thought these relics were lost. No, they were just like 5 feet to the west.
It's like, first off, they were exiled, and by exiled we mean literally just still in the same zone. And it's like these relics that supposedly were lost for all of eternity were literally in this same zone as well. It's like, what were y'all doing?
They just had Astarion's crown. Yeah, I think people would have fought a little bit harder for that crown. I don't know.
That was next on the list. They swore. They said, we gotta make the auction house. We gotta make the thing to upgrade your items. And then they went down the checklist. They're like, King Astarion's magic crown. We were just about to get to that. I swear.
What the hell is it? But the mounts that the Silver Covenant were riding, do you guys recognize the mounts they were on? Do you remember?
Aren't they the dragons that grew in Outland?
They were riding the Silverian Dreamers, which, you know how they do that thing where at the end of an expansion, a new mount comes out, and then that mount is like a little hinteroo for the next expansion? So this one was the hint for Shadowlands. It came out at the end of BFA, because this mount specifically is a Veil Wing, which only exists within the Ardenweald in Shadowlands. And all of a sudden, all these bitches got him.
Wait, so what's the lore there then?
Well, I guess I missed a conversation. I didn't realize there was one. So Veil Wings are feathered dragonkin native to Ardenweald. So, you know, they guarded or whatever. A group of Veil Wings, known as Silverian Dreamers, came into existence as the result of a Dallaranian artist who dreamed of a beautiful feathered dragon and then he painted it. And these paintings came to life to save the citizens of Dalaran during the city's destruction by Xalatath.
That is... I know we can't be everywhere. We can't cover every single thing. They made that up. I was there. I was the last one off of the city, and I did not see a bunch of dragons that a man dreamt and then painted of come through a blue portal to whisk people away.
Also, like, I'm sorry, but, like, since when is that a thing that, like, normal people on Azeroth can do? Like, what is up with all these beings being able to just dream things into existence all of a sudden?
Dream existing things from realms. So the whole reason this is a quote is because that is in the Mount Journal. That is when you hover over the mount what its description has been since it came in. An artist in the magical city of Dalaran fell asleep on her brush and dreamed of painting a beautiful feathered dragon. Her artwork left on the page, and when she awoke, found it sleeping gently beside her. Anyway, there is someone named Celadine who is in Silverglade Refuge in the Eversong Woods, and she has some gossip quotes. "Oh, pay no mind to me, champion Growlita. This shoveling is all part of the joy of taking care of mythical beasts." And then you can ask her, "Where'd you find these animals?" And Celadine goes, "To be honest, I'm not sure myself." After Dalaran fell into the sea, the Silver Covenant tried to salvage what we could. On one of those outings, we discovered these drakes along with survivors. Apparently the drakes came to their rescue when Dalaran was destroyed. We've been caring for them ever since. There was a rumor going around, she's also very chatty, there was a rumor going around that an artist in Dalaran somehow created the drakes. Apparently she dreamed of these dragons and made many paintings of them, but never sold a single one. When asked why, she said that she painted them for Dalaran. That when Dalaran's people needed them, these paintings would come to life and the dragons would be there to help. Crazy story, right? We never could verify it, though.
Okay,
I
what the fuck?
love this woman and her deviant art comfort character. That's literally her persona. Like, it's a pre-existing creature in the Shadowlands, but she just started painting this beautiful, like, pale bird creature. And someone's like, "Wow, that's pretty good." And she's like, "Yeah, for some reason, I feel literally possessed to paint nothing but this guy." Dozens, hundreds of paintings of just this guy. And someone's like, "Wow, you need to go to the doctor. I think there's some tests that you can take and some things you can learn about yourself."
She's like, "No, listen, you just don't understand. This is my OC." But, like, okay, this whole thing is bonkers to me. Like, Blizzard, what are we doing here? Like, this is giving me that they just wanted the Silver Covenant to have a new cool, sick flying mount, and they're like, "How do we do this?" But then they just inserted this? I mean, like, is this character, this artist that can create things, never going to be included in anything ever again? Because, like, I feel like this is giving, like, raid boss energy.
Personally, I don't hate it.
And no, I don't hate it. It's just weird. I feel like we've never had something like this.
Now I gotta look back at all these other little throwaway mounts. Like, what's the Diablo mount do? The fire horse that I had to play 20 games of HOTS. Who's he gonna save? Also, this is not to say, do we have a limited amount of these things? Because Dalaran crashed. Is this lady dead?
Right. No, exactly.
That would stink if we had a limited number of OCs. Like, Xalatath shoots a magic missile and takes one down. It's like, hey, the lady who used to make these is dead, okay? And I don't know what program she used to draw them. It's too expensive to get Adobe Animate anymore.
The part that's interesting to me, I mean, obviously the whole thing's interesting, but that description of an artist in the magical city of Dalaran fell asleep on her brush and dreamed of painting a beautiful feathered dragon was put in when the mount was put in 2019. So, like, I don't know. This might have been the plan the whole time, because it'd be insane for them to be like, we need a new mount for the Silver Covenant. Let's go through all of our descriptions of our 6-month sub mount and see which one fits.
What does this weirdo deviant artist, like, know that everyone else doesn't know? Like, what did she know? Like, did she know that Dalaran needed protection? Like, what was happening?
Xalatath's navy is attacking us. We must depend on our friends from the sea. Muscular Murloc that was the 12-month sub mount in 2023.
Oh, that'd be sick if they get that guy punching people out there. I just could not stop thinking about, I'm like, where the fuck did the Silver Covenant get these Shadowlands mounts when I saw them riding to them to war to kill jellyfish? I was like, where the fuck did they get these?
Is it bad that I just didn't really think much of them when I saw them? I'm like, I guess those are dragons, and I didn't really look too closely.
Yeah, I was just like, elves gun.
I was like, Silverian Dreamers don't belong here. Is exactly what I was like. Why are the Silverian Dreamers here? And then I got on mine, and I was flying with them. So that was my amount of choice during this war. I'm like, well, apparently everyone else has fucking got one. They all have 6-month subs, so let's show it off.
The mount I was using was that one goblin skiff that has an ugly face on the front, and it sounds like someone hitting a wall with a wrench and farts.
What?
It's the Gilliwix ATV or like AXV. I'll have to show you sometime.
Yes.
It's so loud. It's
Clank.
like, and I'm just like, why is this the most audible mount in the world?
I think that's BFA engineering. I'm pretty sure.
Meanwhile, here I am, just like I'm my random mounts, and it ended up being like a cinder bee.
Hey, you know, you got to scare the void with the bees. Yeah, I thought this is a really cool scenario. I really liked it. I mean, I'm a sucker for big battle fights anyway, but when you call it Battle of the Bridge, and you know that your boy loves a bridge fight, I was like, oh, they're fucked. We're on home turf, baby. I have killed so many Horde on that fucking bridge.
You're like, put us on a bridge. That's all we need.
You got jebaited. I was there when someone was like, oh, I love the Battle of the Bridge. And you're like, there's a bridge we fight on? And I had to watch you realize in real time that it was like PvE content. You're like, oh, okay, I guess that's cool.
Yeah, I was like, where am I needed? I'm going to this bridge.
What do we have to say about the actual march to Quel'danas? I will say this. I think it is, I'd have to measure that in the Dream Rift. I think it is in our career the shortest we've ever had to walk for a raid. From the moment you enter to the moment that you finish, I believe that is maybe quarter mile.
Oh, like the fact that like even like the trash and whatnot, like it's just you like barely move at all. Like in the raid itself, plus the fact that the raid itself is right attached to Silvermoon.
Yeah, not since the Terrace of Bad Tides and Mop have we had a good quality raid that's been maybe, like, I don't even know if you're breaking a sweat if you're walking this thing.
Yeah, everything is real close. It's pretty nice. Like I was inside, I was AFK feeding the cat so you guys kill trash like normal. And I come back and I'm like, is trash jet yet? And I'm like, oh my god, I walk literally 10 feet to where you guys are in a straight line. So, I mean, hey, you know what? They know how to set up a good marching atmosphere, because we marched.
We did. Not very far, but we did march.
So, Bellimer, Big Bird.
What the hell was Lynn calling it? Because Lynn was not calling it his proper name. He was not pronouncing the apostrophe. He was like, Bellamin. Beelamin.
He just said it in like one, like no like space, like, because like what is the bird's actual name? Like Bell or Wren or something like that? I don't know.
You know what? Yeah, we say, what? How dare he misname this bird? I couldn't tell you. Bella something.
Yeah, it's
dead.
Bello-Wren. Bello-Wren.
Bell apostrophe O.
He was saying Ballerin. It's Ballerin. And I'm like, you gotta hit that apostrophe. Respect that.
He's from the mountains. He always says funny things. This is the expansion of Alaria, but you look back and he's always said Alaria.
What did he know? Like, we had that artist who was dreaming these creatures, and then Lynn just, I guess, knew that apparently it would eventually become Alaria now all of a sudden.
How do you feel about this bird being a child of Ashes of Alar? It's Alar's son, or a child.
Yeah, there is no one on this earth who has killed their parent more than you.
I know, and that's why I was like, you know what? Like, I can kill the kid. Easy work. But I did notice that. I feel like a Phoenix fight is kind of annoying, and I feel like we were struggling with that. I feel like as it went on, we were struggling with killing the eggs, and as things got more hectic towards the end, and
Everyone had little slippy dippy tricks they wanted to do, like they were on America's Funniest Home Videos. It's like, let's just latch down. This is a two shift fight. You don't need to go to a specific place. Just get your soaks or get your puddles out of the center. It was people are trying to follow the letter of the law and do sick Tony Hawk tricks, and it's like, just put your head down and do the damn thing.
I mean, like, this group, technically, mechanics are usually a little harder for us to do, but I do feel like it was made a little more confusing with the marks, because the marks were set for phase 2, but I didn't even know that. I wasn't really listening. That's a me problem, but I know if I'm not listening, other people probably aren't listening. So then people like thought they had to go to the marks all the time, and then that ended up not being the case, and then it was just, we had some sloppy pulls. I will say, definitely don't like Phoenix fights. I just hate when I kill something and it's not fucking dead. I'm like, oh, just die.
And like in this case, the killing the bird form is easier than killing the egg for some reason. I'm like, I guess that's the mechanic, but then we just got overwhelmed with all of them. And the actual like void and light aspects of the fight I thought were really cool though.
Sick, real sick.
I don't like Blizzard. That's not cool. There's a bit when you're fighting the egg where it will shoot energy out in different cones, and you got to match whatever you're attuned to, light or void, with the energy. They're not slick doing ones where it's like, if there's 12 things, it's like, 11 of 12 are light and 1 is void. Boo. If you got to do that, make it like 2, 3, not 1.
I think it's really funny when it's 1. It very rarely fucked me. Like, I felt I just got really lucky that I would always line up with the bigger pie slice, and I see everybody else scrabbling to go get the small one.
Like you saying scrabbling just reminded me of fucking like Xalatath and the Aphex with the balls. I'm like, what does this even mean, Xalatath? She's like, all you pitiful creatures scrabbling for control or something. I forget exactly what she said. All I can picture is just like Xalatath, like, whipping out a Scrabble board on the table and like trying to like find like the longest, most valuable word and location. But anyway,
no, she would do only 2-letter words, and she'd fuck the board up completely.
She would be busting out a XI over a triple word score.
I mean, I feel like that's been her whole strategy. What was Mana Forge Omega if not us setting up a 17 word? And then she was just like, and with this S tile, I take the whole word. You have done my dirty work for me.
But back to the Bello Ren fight. Like there's some pulls where, I just was able to stand still the entire time on those wedges. And then there's another one where I just had to like, as we were saying, there's not a whole lot of trucking around this raid, but like, there were some pulls on Belloran where I was like having to hoof it around like every slice I was as far away as possible from where I needed to be next.
I feel honestly so blessed this tier to be playing Devourer, because I know I complained about not having Fell Rush and having to have Shift, but Shift makes every single movement mechanic zeroed out completely. Does not matter to me. Oh, I have to get into the 1 pie slice? Let me just click the floor here and I'll teleport there. I'm there every single time. It's so nice. If I die, I'm a fool. And I thought I had an extra 0.2 on my shift.
Oh, also, you gotta let the people know that like you have updated your foot pedal.
Yes, the foot pedal is back, everybody. Don't worry. I know you were thinking, I wonder whatever happened to Slidewhistle's foot pedal he was using to press Convoke and then later healing potions in Shadowlands. Now it's back, and it's used sometimes when my finger hurts from pressing Consume too much, which is my like 75% of the press button press. So now sometimes I just hold my foot down and I use it.
Okay, so it's a turbo thing where you hold the pedal down and it like hits it as fast as possible. I thought you were just like you were from Rush and you just had two like drum pedals like I was like, I feel like that would be more obtrusive than just pressing it with a button.
I haven't tried that actually. I should try that. Something about holding, so because my consume is on Q, which is my most used button. The Q is my button where it's like ability use a lot. So I'm pressing it and then I'm just like, ugh. Like technically I have enabled the option to where I can hold it, but holding a keyboard button versus just mashing the keyboard button does not feel as good as mashing. Mashing feels so great that I feel like I'm faster. I'm faster than if I hold it. But for some reason with the foot pedal, I don't feel that way. Maybe it's because I can like scratch my head and drink a drink and, you know, cut a sandwich in half.
This guy was over here doing the rub my tummy, pat my head challenge during Bellamath. That's why it took like an hour and a half.
No, I didn't put the pedal in until Firelands, actually. Because my finger started to hurt. I was like, oh my god, my fingy hurts. And then I only did it sometimes. But honestly, I'm a fan. I'm glad the pedal's back in rotation to give my wee little fingy a break.
Oh my god, it must be so hard that your rotation is just one button.
Excuse me, my Demon Hunter sensei also reconfirmed. He goes, a lot of people are laughing at me when I say that Demon Hunter is the highest, most difficult to perform spec. Actually, he's clarified. I'm not saying it's the most difficult to perform. I'm saying it's the most difficult to get your max damage out of any class to ever exist. People don't believe me, but trust me. You go try and parse high and you see how you do. I was like, oh my god, he's getting mad. He must be getting a lot of like emails or something about it.
Yeah, but then you found out that once you started looking into it, that there is a big difference between like actually knowing the rotation and not. It's like very punishing.
Very punishing. But you know what the best part is? The best part that I kind of like is that there are rules to be playing it, but also sometimes there aren't rules, and the rules are you do what you gotta do to prolong it. I like classes like that where it's like, oh, if I take a step to the right and walk into the right orb at the right time, I can extend my metamorphosis like 20 seconds. I see what you have to be fully aware of everything. It's kind of annoying, but also it's kind of fun.
Is it kind of like the Surrender to Madness Shadow Priest era?
I don't think I ever played Surrender to Madness Shadow Priest era, but you had to do weird things as well to like maintain your insanity, I think, right?
Yeah, and you could like maximize it and then just like stay in that forever because like if you didn't, you just fucking die.
Fortunately, you can't stay in Metamorphosis forever because of it. It does take down. So annoying in mid dungeons, but yeah. So anyway, Beleren killed Beleren, shot in the head 3 times. Took us a long. I was getting worried we weren't gonna kill Beleren.
I was getting testy, especially because group other. There is no A or B or 1 or 2. Group other. We're not having a tough time. While we were chatting about what different marks meant on Beleren, they did it. And the achievement popped. And I said, I threw the towel. I went up like it was a 90s NBA game. And I said, it's over. It's done.
I will say, I think I was worried people were going to feel that way, but I didn't want to say anything to make it more obvious. However, the other group did not do Firelands on Tuesday. They went right into normal Beleren and wiped on it. So they actually they actually went into Beleren day 2 already having pulls on Beleren day 1. And then they did Firelands after. So I think that's part of it. I think sleeping on it really would have helped like our pull count go down. But then when we fucking marched into the March on Quel'danas, April on Quel'danas, second boss, Laura, Chatty, Caddy, Laura, she was a real bitch to us.
I didn't like it. Not just because it's my mommy, and I don't like when my mommy's making fun of me or yelling at me. But it feels really weird, because you go back to Seat of the Triumvirate, does not talk. Did not say anything when she left Illyria's body. And then now we roll in, and it's like she's like crossed her legs. You can sort of see like the one wind chime is over another. She's sipping a goblet of wine, like, you foolish fools have come to stop me. And I was like, I feel like this would have been better if she just kind of bing bonged at us.
But then the fight itself, I feel like it was kind of quiet though. Still, like, kind of like the Seat of the Triumvirate. Like all the abilities didn't really give me sound notifications like a lot of other things in WoW do.
I appreciated her symbols above the head shoot you with a laser ability. They had the option to have been like, dun, dun, dun. But I do like that when she hits you with the beam, it still just like, bling, bing, bong, bing. I was like, oh, that's nice and calming. And then she's like, rotate or you'll be hit by a laser. That was a good fight, if only in that it was really intuitive. It took us a few times to get past part 1, but then we made it to part 3 on a random poll. And I don't know if people had been watching videos or just Raider knowledge. The fight did a good job of sort of telegraphing, like, okay, this is probably what you should be doing. You're targeted with a laser. There's balls behind you. You know what to do.
Yeah, it definitely was really good at teaching, because like I touched the outside and that immediately, and I'm like, okay, well, don't do that no more. I will say one of the only complaints about that fight I do have is that there's not an audio cue for when she's flashing the symbols that we need to know. Because, like, when we're fighting ads is when she all of a sudden is like, okay, now I'm going to list the 3 symbols. But she doesn't make a chime. She doesn't go, hey, look at my symbols. She does it fucking silently. She's a true villain. And to the point to where only Ahoy, our tank, who's doing nothing at the time, is able to be like, triangle, diamond, X. And I'm like, oh my god, when the fuck did she start doing that? I didn't even realize she was doing it. I was like waiting for her. I was waiting to catch it so I could see it. Because I know when I pug this shit, I'm going to fuck up the lettering. Because it's so silent when she pops them out.
I do think it was a cool mechanic, though. I feel like this raid, these 2 bosses have a lot of, like, unique mechanics that I've enjoyed. Like, I like the match my notes and have them hit by this beam in a certain order, which when they were describing it, I thought we were going to have a lot of problems with, but then I feel like we picked it up a lot quicker than I thought I would, and it wasn't even that bad.
My favorite was the one where everybody panicked and was like, everyone's moving. He goes, stop moving, stop moving. What are you doing? And like they're still moving. He's like, no.
Stop! You were in the right place.
My favorite was when we made it to part 3 the first time. Immune put the team on his back, but he left me in the ditch because we didn't know that we were all supposed to clump up to make the people that hold lights above their head easier. So he starts trucking to bring his light to the rest of the crew, but the Nasal brothers, me and Rush, were like, don't go, please! And we sat in the shadows, and I got to watch you prance over there. And then I said,
I didn't realize that the slow thing was a thing, or else I would have been like, okay, everybody, come on, we're moving together. I just thought it was like a damage thing. And I was like, oh, they'll be fine. They can like catch up or something.
You killed them.
It's all good. Yeah, you killed me. Clearly that was going to be the bull. Going into part 3 where no one knew anything about anything. And I think there was like 6 people up. But there could have been 8.
Yeah, I was like, they were like, grab the light, and I'm like, I'm gonna grab it, but I don't know what the fuck to do because I was not paying attention. And then luckily it was, oh, you have the light, you're protected. And I was like, oh, phew, sounds good.
So all of this culminates to the meat of the matter, what I feel like this episode will be known for, the cutscene at the end of March on Quel'danas.
Yes, but before we get to the cutscene, I'm gonna go pee real quick, so just pause. I've been holding this piss.
Or throw it to Growlina, maybe, I don't know.
Okay, Growl, give us your thoughts. What did you think? Growl on the Prowl once again brings me to your doorstep. This time, staring at the large pillar of void descending into the Sunwell, with my associate Farah pal. Farah, how have these latest adventures been treating you? I may be a cat, but this whole march on Quel'danas has got me feeling like a mule. Oh my, how very poetic. What has vexed you so? All these extra guys show up to help out Lorthamar, but what are they actually doing? The trolls, the Horanir, they threw a single punch, and now they're just sitting on the shore basking in the glory. Will us real heroes actually have to save the day? It's like the loser kid getting an A just because it's a group project. That is quite vexing, and very true. Orwena's gonna swoop in here and say that she helped save the Sunwell. But where is she? back in a portal to Fungus Town as soon as things got hairy. I just hope there's a proper report of who did what here when this all blows over. I don't want any stinking green trolls stealing my valor. Well, I've been going into this thing on heroic for 3 days. Here. We'll make sure that your voice is heard. That said, it will now be drowned out by 3 other voices and the rest of the show. Thank you, Growlina. Now let me enter from my portal to a problematic place.
Yes, hello, I pissed. I cleaned out my ears with some Q-tips and ate some kimchi. I'm ready to roll.
The recording booth now smells like kimchi.
Yummy yum. So this cutscene at the end of the April on Quel'danas.
I have a lot of words about this, but I guess just to dive into it, Sylvanas returns randomly. Mall portal, shoots Zalatath's little Orby.
I did like that she shot the Orby, and I like that for whatever reason it took Xalatath a little bit to recover her Orby. I thought she was just going to be done. I thought every subsequent appearance, Xalatath would be like, don't talk about it. They knocked one of my balls off.
It was really funny because obviously wherever Sylvanas was, the mall, she must have been watching somehow, right? Because, like, she knew when to show up. She knew where to show up. She knew what to shoot at.
She knew the first part of the one-liner. Like, Xalatath was like, you windrunners are so stinky. And then she came in, she's like, stinky malinky. So, like, yeah, she not only knew where to port from, she was actively listening to be like, and now.
You know what it's kind of giving? It's kind of giving she had her hand on King Kai's head as he was watching the fight.
On Xalatath's bald ass head, or Xalatath, on Zoval's bald ass head. And go.
Right, get in there. But so, yeah, I like that it was a tactical, like, I'm going to shoot at this and see what it fucking does. And then even Xalatath was like, oh, I didn't account for this one. I didn't think you'd be anywhere near me.
And you know what? I think the reason that Xalatath wasn't accounting for it, because Xalatath knew that we went to the mall to try to recruit her, and then she was like, no, I won't be coming.
And that is the one thing the Void fears is the realm of death. That's been said multiple times, I think by Sylvanas, I think, as well. So it's also interesting that she wouldn't even account for Sylvanas, period.
I mean, there's also the chance that Xalatath is just lying. Like, I don't, like, just to make herself feel better about losing a little Orby momentarily.
I did see someone online say that is the expansion between Xalatath being a thing. Like, she showed up in BFA and she's like, I'm going to do my taxes for a bit. I'm going to go see my accountant.
It's that every other team, every other expansion is by the same team thing. So, like, Xalatath's like, I didn't account for you because my writers didn't know what was happening in the Shadowlands.
Yeah, exactly. They thought that was still a napkin note. And here you are coming from the Mew. It's the Maw.
But
also, R.I.P. These guys cannot talk to each other a lot because I'm not good at differentiating my shades of blue evil woman voice. And I feel like people already get confused when, like, 3 white guys are on a podcast together. If I do this and then go into this, that was 2 different characters.
You gotta be sexier for Xalatath. You gotta talk kind of like, you're on a phone sex operator.
I'm doing this.
See, you're doing Sylvanas' voice. You're doing Sylvanas' voice.
I'm doing the voice while in IRL touching my breasts.
Oh, breasticles.
That shows how sensual I am.
I'm fondling my Orbies.
Sylvanas is too old. She's too busted. She wouldn't feel herself up like that.
She'd pull it off and show you.
But this whole thing has gotten everyone talking, and it's really funny to me. People are, like, jumping out of windows saying that, like, they're retconning everything. I'm like, y'all, they aren't retconning shit. Why do you guys always jump to saying that things are being retconned? Like, what part of this implies that anything is being retconned?
Well, you see, Sylvanas said, quote, the Shadowlands aren't what they seem, which I could have told you that in Shadowlands.
Yeah, we very much knew that the 6 places we went to Shadowlands, that's not the entirety of it. That's just 6 places. So she's like, you'll never believe it. There might be a 7th or hell, even an 8th.
Yeah, and like they set up the Shadowlands in a way that was very much so that there was not things that we knew, because like they were basically saying, like, well, the Eternal ones created the first ones who shaped the Shadowlands, and it's like we don't know anything about who those people are even. So it's very open-ended about like what could or couldn't be. Like we just don't know. So it's like it's not retconning to just add on to a storyline or to try to tie in this storyline into this current story. And I think this all could potentially still make sense, especially because if we're going into a whole anti-Titan storyline potentially, I feel like the Titans were involved in shaping the Shadowlands.
I think there's also like this weird notion that when Chris Metzen left, all of a sudden Steve Denuser went crazy and invented a whole new expansion called the Shadowlands. I'm very certain that the Shadowlands expansion has been on paper in some form for whatever time frame. Maybe he didn't do it as properly as Chris Metzen would have wanted it, or as anybody would have wanted it when they first theorized it. Like, maybe it came out disjointed and shit, but like the concept of the Shadowlands would not have been an expansion if they didn't have this idea before. You know what I mean? Like, they very clearly tied it into stuff.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I'm not even, like, necessarily a Shadowlands defender. I thought the expansion was fine. I played the expansion a lot because of the timing of it with the pandemic and whatnot. I don't know that I, like, was obsessed with the story, but I did genuinely like the zones. But, like, also people say that, like, oh, Shadowlands was, like, a one-off thing that they won't ever tie back into. And I'm like, literally every expansion since has had aspects of the Shadowlands in it. So I don't know why people are saying or thinking that we weren't going to go back there or it wasn't going to be involved.
It is funny that I understood that the Shadowlands existed. I didn't know when we would go back. But if you've ever done the Void Storm, like, defend the core thing, one of the things that you can buy, one of the defenses, is just a bunch of Shadowlands guys show up. And I did think, as I saw, like, a giant gargoyle woman and one of the living armors from Bastion show up, I was like, what's going on with that? Why are you guys here? And then now it makes sense. They said, well, we were breadcrumbing. Shadowlands is still on the table.
I mean, because the Silverian Dreamers were coming through the paintings. The
like Venari's been eternally around since too. It's like it like tied in with the Ethereals and War Within.
And then there's my other complaint about people's complaints is the complaint that it's like, oh, I really hated like the robot stuff, like, oh, the whole like the pantheon of robots, and like robots haven't existed. And I'm sitting here like, guys, Titan constructs have been a part of the game since the beginning. Dwarfs, gnomes, humans, those all were made robots by humans before the curse of flesh got them.
Also, the whole thing where it's like the Shadowlands and the way it was set up effectively is the same mechanisms, because like the Titans were involved in shaping it, right?
But we don't see now. Here's where the conspiracists and what maybe Sylvanas is getting at comes in. What she means by the Shadowlands aren't what they seem, which is probably, there's a theory going around right now that the Titans ordered what we saw of the Shadowlands, and it's why we were quote unquote allowed to go there.
Oh, so we're in Disneyland.
Yes,
like we're in the pocket that they set up, and like it's cool to look at that, but don't look at this other stuff.
Because like during that time, like Sylvanas' whole thing before we 100% knew if she was like actually fully cognizant or whatever, was that she wanted to like destroy the mechanisms of death, which would have been probably the Titan instilled mechanisms of death, maybe.
And like I'm pretty sure this argument was around back then. Like it's a really oddly ordered area. Right? People die, your souls are sorted by the Arbiter, now the Trans Arbiter, and you know this picks where you're gonna go, and everything is set up very neatly into the 4 zones. The Titans are hiding something, which is definitely what we're leading into. But I think it's funny, again, back to the whole like it's being retconned thing, because like, it fits in perfectly with what we got. We don't know what the hell's going on with Zereth Mortis. All we know is that the jailer and Denathris and Ardenwold Lady and the rest
The
of them,
Winter Queen.
Winter Queen, were proto-synthesized from a robot form, basically, but it still kind of lines up with the curse of flesh shit affecting dwarfs and gnomes and human. So I'm thinking the Titans didn't want us to know that basically maybe they set that shit up, or the Titans themselves are robot constructs and they're afraid of us learning that.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, Zereth Mortis was where... Okay, so I don't remember exactly which one was which. There's the first ones and the Eternal ones. The Winter Queen and them are one of them, but I don't remember which one was which.
They are
Eternal
eternal
ones. First ones, we don't know who they are.
First ones have only been referenced.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. That, like, we don't know who the first ones are, and there were rumors during Shadowlands, I believe even, like, gossip text, where people were, like, in-game surmising that the first ones were just straight up the Titans. So,
I think a lot of this is wrapped up in the Primus. I need to do a Primus refresher.
Okay, here's John the Fisherman.
But the fact that he was chained up that whole time never sat well with me. And it kind of gave me, like, this dude is faking it. Like, kind of like allowing himself to be captured. Or I don't know. He seems way too powerful to be in chains making weapons for Zoval.
Well, he did intentionally allow himself to get captured, because wasn't the whole thing, like, he pretended to be in prison so that Zoval wouldn't reach inside his chest and get his core?
So that way he didn't know who he was. And I'm like, if he's gonna lie about that, what else is this bitch gonna lie about?
yeah, I mean, is apparent back then even that there was a lot in the Shadowlands we didn't know. So that's why I'm confused about why people are thinking that things are being retconned from Shadowlands when, like, it is all perfectly still open book. Like, we don't know, like, what's happening.
Not to jump on them, although I will. I'll
No,
jump.
I want to jump on them, Aaron. Let's jump on them.
It's not... people say, oh, they're retconning the lore, and just speak with your hearts. Just be mad that they're continuing it.
Just say that you don't want them to make more Shadowlands lore. Like, just stand 2 feet down and say that you hated the Shadowlands. That's fine.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, oh, like Chris is back. Oh, they're moving in a different direction. Hopefully they never need to go back and talk about this thing I didn't like. And so, yeah, it's not that they're changing things. It's just when they're doing more stuff about it, it's like, oh, I hated that thing. I understand. I felt the same way with elves. You, angry guy on the internet, we're in the same boat here.
Like, again, Shadowlands lore is not anywhere near perfect or 3 layers below perfect. But there's definitely nuggets in there that they have intended to be a part of the lore since their inception. It'd be insane if Steve Denuser went rogue and just all of a sudden was writing all this brand new lore. I think that's the hang up. People forget that, like, they plan these expansions so far in advance that, like, maybe they didn't deliver on, like, every 60% of the notes they wanted to. But, like, there's no way we weren't going back to this. Like, this was gonna come up eventually. But how? Okay, so I said what I think is gonna happen. I think the Titans either were lying and posing as the first ones to the areas we saw as they created Zereth Mortis and shit, or are somehow part of this system and the first ones are still nebulous creatures. But I really think the Titans are posing as the first ones. I don't know. Maybe they're liars.
I mean, and we've also had confirmation that the Titans lie to us or purposely admit things that they don't want us knowing in their quest to order things. So I feel like that is, I don't know, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, if they want to be the rulers of everything, the highest powers, they would not want people knowing that they're part of the chain, or they are just robots or whatever. So yes, it very easily it could just be like, oh, the first ones made us, and then Aman'Thul's like, shut. And that was us. That's what they used to call us. And then before, we were like, you know what? That makes sense. That tracks. Thanks, Ami. But now we've met enough dissidents, enough people that are not tightened, that we're like, wait a minute. I think you're lying to me, Freyr.
Yeah, I just did a refresher just on Titan lore. The Titans are colossal godlike beings made up of the primordial matter from which the very universe was born. So either that's a lie, and they're trying to cover that up, that they were actually like made from the first ones who wore that primordial matter and then tried to take over their positions because they're world souls, right? All Titans are world souls like Azeroth, which is why they want to help all the world souls.
And I think that is where we're coming back to here, because still, Azeroth was stabbed, and then I think ever since then, things have been acting weird. I think that somehow ties into the fact that parts of Azeroth are growing uncontrollably, like the light bloom portions. I think all of this is tying in somehow. I just don't know how exactly. I think the Titans don't want us to know something about Azeroth in particular.
Yes, because back to my other theory about the light bloom and the existence of plant beings that are in the core. That is like the Titans' oldest enemies on Azeroth, other than the Void or whatever, is like dealing with the plant things that strangle the worlds
Like
they're trying to
growth.
free.
Like unchecked growth.
Yeah, that's like their OG enemy, kind of. That's like their, one of their first like Rocky fights. And it seems kind of like we're going towards unchecked growth again if this light bloom takes a hold on Azeroth.
Yeah, so I don't know why everyone's so up in arms. I feel like they're cooking. I don't know. I'm interested to see where it goes. I mean, I've been interested to see where it goes, and we've been accused of being like shills, so I don't know.
And see where they goes is also an interesting fact because we didn't talk about Sylvanas left. She dropped that bomb and then she went through a portal.
Oh yeah,
So
back to the mall.
She won't even be in in Midnight. At least from what we can tell now, she's just like, by the way, stuff's going down.
She made it seem like it took a lot of her power to leave the mall temporarily to do this, and then she had to return back. Basically, she shot Zally in the ball, and then gave Varisa a hug, and then left. Right? Like, dropped that bomb on us about the Shadowlands not being what it seemed. But I'm like, I don't know. What did it seem like, Sylvanas?
It's actually fun. Whenever you were there, that place fucking sucked. But no, you get to the other side. There's a water slide and everything. You should visit.
The other side.
I'm still reading. Despite what is commonly known on Azeroth as history, the Titans were in some way connected to the first ones. Yeah, we know that. The same entities that organized and designed the Pantheon of Death of the Shadowlands, along with the Shadowlands themselves. The Titans' connections to the progenitors, which is the first ones, and the otherwise unknown facility known as Zereth Ortis, was concealed and forbidden by the command of Odin, placing Titans as the absolute pinnacle of existence in their records, so as to not, quote-unquote, confuse mortals, in Odin's words. These bitches...
Well, damn, that's it right there.
Yeah. They are they're definitely not the top. They want us to think they're the top, and they're actually the verse.
Maybe they might be sides. I don't know. So this is implying that the Titans are potentially reporting to the first ones who made Zereth Mortis and Zereth Ortis. Is that what that's saying?
It's just that there's a loose connection because we know nothing about the first ones. Nothing. Diddly squat.
And then I remember there was also this potential connection that Elune might be involved in this too, because the Winter Queen referred to Elune as her sister, but then I think that would just make Elune on the tier of eternal ones, not first ones. So I wonder if that's going to tie in somehow too.
I'm nervous about that because, you never want to meet your heroes. I feel like seeing Elune in a physical manifestation is going to make a lot of people mad no matter which way you shake it.
It doesn't. She could just be the most night elven looking night elf ever, like what we have in our mind. As soon as it's real, it's like party's over, fun's over.
Yeah.
That's why she should just be the sun, or the moon that we've all thought. Have cutscenes where we walk into a room and there's just a huge celestial body sitting there, and it's like, it's me, Loon. You got it in one. I wasn't a woman that lived in the moon. I was it.
I am the moon.
I am my moon. And it just shakes slightly.
I really want Ridicron to free Sargeras. I think that'd be sick, and he'd be like, "Fuck you, Titans! Look who I broke free from jail."
Yeah, because already Baby's still around. His plan didn't necessarily even 100% seem aligned with potentially Xalatath's even. I think he just wanted, like, Chaos and to stick it to the Titans, right?
I mean, last we saw was the Dark Heart, and he gave it to a Zali shape, and then she had it, so I guess we know it was her. But that was it. That was Mega Dungeon, and then he left.
So I like what the theory was that he wanted to do this to then get the attention of the Titans, so then he could strike them or something. I don't really know his goal, but I do think that'll tie in too.
And now it's time for our top toot, bottom boot, medium mood. I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
I have a top toot.
Toot 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 toot.
I was waiting in the mud last week trying to pug heroics to get 2 heroic raid slots. I only got 1. I could not find a group that could kill a 4th boss for me. But I did kill heroic chimeras, and I was like, if I get 2 vault slots, maybe I'll get gear that I want. Better chances. Didn't get it. Was sad. Opened up my vault this Tuesday, and I got the trinket, the eyeball gaze, heroic version from the vault, and I was like, oh, I only needed 1 vault slot.
That's the thing. I feel like last week you were like, yeah, my Demon Hunter is geared, except I have 2 shitty ass trinkets that are like D tier, and then over this last week you got like literally your 3 best trinkets.
Yeah, because right after I got that, then we down. It was normal. We killed normal dragons in Voidspire, and I won the Dragon Gaze. So now I have 2 beasts' eyeballs to stick in my blind eye sockets, and I have since done so.
That's so gross. Slidewhistle, the character, removes his blindfold, and he has 2 like desiccated molding dragon's eyes in his sockets, and he's like, "Oh, look at this!" Like it's like a party trick. And all the children are like, "Ah!"
No, that's the thing. It's like I feel like we've always wondered like exactly the concept of a trinket. Like, you know, the other things, it's like obvious the gear. It's like, oh yeah, this is a chest thing, I wear this. Or like, oh, this is a necklace, I wear this. Oh, ring on my finger, right? But like trinkets, like what are they just like in your pouch? But no, his are just 2 eyeballs, and like he doesn't have eyes, so
It's great because like on my bars, my trinkets are side by side, so I just have a pair of eyeballs looking back at me every time I play. But yeah, that's it. Aaron, top toot, bottom boot, Mario Mart.
Mario Mart!
Mario.
Oh no, it's a bad time for a Mario! Oh,
The movie it came out.
Oh, that's the reason it's a bad! Mario death sound.
Sonic! Knuckles! We did it!
I have a top toot.
Top toot.
toot toot.
And it's that, you know what, last week I said, we did it, but another raid came out, another real nail biter, and we did it. In the midnight hours, I think it was like 12:05, maybe we had 1 more pull in us, we beat my mama, we beat Laura, and I said, wow, we did it, everyone. We're not Group B, we're not Group not. Everyone's on the same level. Everyone did the same amount of content. I know, because when we were doing it, some people got Firelands achievements. So I was like, wow, they even went in and did that too.
Yeah, I was honestly worried that we were not going to successfully clear March on the March raid because
April on Quel'danas.
Yeah, the April on Quel'danas, sorry, because we did we did March on in there on April 1st on April Fool's Day.
But speaking of a fool, let's hear from Immune.
Oh, well, I have a top toot as well.
Top toot as well. TTAW.
Whoa, my TTAW is that I feel like I was very my T-tall is that, you know, I was very successful this week. I caught up on almost everything. Both my characters are geared. I replaced all those greens, Aaron. Don't worry. Don't you worry, child.
Oh, I knew it was an issue. I said, we're going into the April on Quel'danas. Forward this man all of your rings.
And I'm glad that you like secretly slid me a ring under the table. It did help.
I was being a stinker. Rosh won like 7 things, and I was like, I don't even need this belt, but let me roll so he doesn't get that shit. And then I got it, did nothing with it, and then the next day I got a better belt, so I was like, well, sorry. Could have used that one, but you don't get it.
No, but I do feel like normally I'm like, ugh, why are we doing Firelands? Because like everyone always wants to do Firelands, but like, I'll give them one thing. It did get everyone gear that they needed for once, so like, it was useful this time.
Oh yeah, we got hella fucking gear. Everyone was trading like crazy.
But yeah, both my characters geared, kitted out, got 10s out of the way, Keystone Master, portals of everything. It's been a very successful week. Then we full cleared normal. So I will be doing some good prog next week on heroic finally. It just feels really good right now. We're in a good spot. I was a little I was just questioning the whole rollout here of all these raids, but I feel like it's felt good. Now I just don't know what we do every week. I feel like we'll have to like make some choices about where we hit up, but it'll be interesting. It's definitely the first time we're doing this type of setup, like as we mentioned last week.
Well, go get your harpoons ready, because we're going for a squid in like a month. I don't know when that actually comes out. I guess that's a 0.25 or 0.5 thing, but get your muck squid killing boots ready.
Wait, what squid?
The creeper. There's a one boss raid that is the next raid that's coming out, and it's the stalker, the thing that you have right now that's called like slip. We're fighting a big one of them.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. Like for some reason, the like Dream Rift one in my mind, I'm like, yeah, that's the one boss one.
I guess that one also, unless it's in a new zone they'll unveil, that'll also be in Herondar, which just makes Herondar the land of like tiny issues that it's like, if you can get to that, if you can, we'd be appreciative, but it's not a big thing. But speaking of appreciation, we are so appreciative of our patrons, and their names include Ahoy Vince, Azarin, Digital Dave, asking Growlina to say, for the Horde. Miskit the Orchid Orc, Crucifix, Alternator, Chris M, Saracen Hawk, Justin Give Me Back My PhD Arcane, Remy.
Every time I hear Chiodos, I get a full boner, and I wanted to hop off the bike before I poked you in the back.
Kick Puncher, Sugar Bear,
Time is money, friend.
Dr. Foster, Grumpy Old Shaman, Jerome, Ollie Adorno, Gershom,
If you want pretty house, why you play ugly faction?
Wooly, Void Elf's Rule, Slide, Drools, Duff the Horde Pooper Cooper, Calcus,
What are these birds doing here?
Cilantro, Alex A, Vanderlyle,
Have a nice day!
and Will, aka Tire, Trade Chat's fallen father.
You can join those hot and sexy shirtless patrons over at patreon.com/do not relent, where we released an episode last week and we'll release an episode next week. Peep it out. $5, $5, $5, $5 for our episodes. There's like 100 something of them.
Well, there's a lot of them now.
107.
Think about that content. It's a lot of, that's like, Jesus, what is it, like 90 hours?
I would say that's days that you could sit there and just listen to our bonus content.
Like, what? You can compile a lot about us in the Excel spreadsheet if you wanted to really get down and dirty with it.
Yeah, dox us, brother. I'm thinking
do
of
that.
moving. You have a little bit of time left to find me and mail me a bomb.
Dox him. Yeah, check us out on Blue Sky. Do Not Relent Pod. No, Do Not Relent, bitch. We got the fucking shit on lock. All right, what about you? Where you guys at?
Well, you can find me, Alex, or Immunization on Twitter at New Era Alex, or on Blue Sky at Immunization. You can find all of our podcast links by going to DoNotRelent.com.
You can find me, Aaron the Human, at the Big Cheesy on Twitters.com, and watch me play Vigigrams at twitch.tv/AaronDNR. I'm going to need the support this weekend. I have a bad feeling about what they're going to do to our Lord Jesus tomorrow.
Oh, man. Hopefully he comes back.
Yeah, crossing my fingers and crossing my crosses.
Crossy crosses. Pray to Yog Saran for release. There's a guy on the train who walked up to a young woman today and said, I really like your flow. No, she was not talking or saying anything before. And then he goes, keep staying right with Jesus. He told me to talk to you. He will guide you. And he will make your voice strong. And then she went, huh? And she removed her ear cup, and you had to say it all over again. And she went, okay, thanks. And then he walked up the train. And remember,
Another down. Do not relent.
Do Not Relent is a podcast within the 3HNC network, representing U.S. Proudmoore's premier podcasts.
That was a very good wish.